So apparently the White House is using Halo memes featuring Master Chief and Donald Trump. And now the entire internet is losing their minds. And we have our boys Angry Joe and Endymion going at it. Some people are calling this propaganda. Some people are just saying it's a joke. But either way, this might be like the biggest gaming drama of the year so far. Like this, it's going crazy on Twitter. So really quick before we start, if you love seeing the truth behind this gaming drama, just gaming news in general, original content, make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment, and let's get into this one because this is going to be funny.
In case you somehow didn't see it, the internet has been losing their minds recently because the White House decided to use memes with Microsoft's flagship series, Halo. This has caused a lot of reactions, both hilarious and kind of annoying, but it's also proving how a lot of these people seemingly don't really understand what Halo even is in the first place. And of course, people like Angry Joe of all people have now come after me, which I know people wanted me to respond to in video form, so here we are doing that right now.
So let me just give you my quick rundown. So I used to watch a lot of Angry Joe back in the day, but recently it seems like they're kind of like scared to tell their opinions. They're scared of the audience and losing sponsorships and that kind of stuff. Like in the past, they would be really brutal, and it seems like now they're like, you know, kind of reserved. They don't want to make the audience like Angry Joe. You know, Big Joe is always talking about how, you know, oh, in the last video, the comments this, comments that. So like they're very aware of the narrative in the comment section on their videos, and it seems to be altering their, not maybe not their viewpoints like personally, but it seems like it's altering the public, what they say in the public and how critical they are. So I kind of lost faith in their channel, to be honest. I don't really go to them as much for honest reviews. There are some things I still watch on their channel, but primarily like the movie and the television stuff, I've kind of skewed away.
Context first, so here's one of those memes used by the White House, which shows Trump wearing Master Chief's armor while outside the White House, and this, well, it angered a lot of people. However, what really started this all in the first place was this post by GameStop, where they confirmed that the console wars are officially over. And that's when the White House replied with that Trump Master Chief meme in the first place, and like I said, this all caused a ruckus. But it reached another fever point, because whoever controls the White House's social media is a 10 out of 10 troll who knows exactly how to push the buttons of their political opposition. That was this post here with the Halo rings with the words join ICE and destroy the flood, which in case you
This one was the most wild. This one was wild. And then they had that Pokemon memes the other day. Like, this is just wild that the president is like doing this.
Somehow don't know what the flood is. They're a monstrous race of mindless zombie-like aliens that's only purpose is to consume other life at any cost. This, well, it made people mad. It also exposed people for having zero media literacy and proving that they have no idea what Halo is even really about in the first place. Anyway, this then led to Angry Joe saying this, which I'm gonna censor some words because Joe has a very foul mouth on him, but this is what he said. F ICE and F Donald Trump, get the F out of here with using Halo for your crappy dehumanizing police state propaganda. No one thinks your crap is cool besides low IQ her MAGA cult members on X, half of which are bots. Y'all gonna find out soon in the next election. This then led to,
you know, so I'm not a MAGA. I'm like in the middle. Like I call myself politically homeless because I'm definitely not in the liberals, the Democratic side, and you know, I'm more with like the MAGA on some of the cultural issues, but then like the foreign affairs and stuff like that, all that, like the real politics stuff, I'm not really aligned with them. You know, I'm anti-war, stuff like that. And this is just funny because I thought Angry Joe lived in Texas and I thought he was more conservative. But like I said, recently he seems like he'd be changing with the audience, I think, or maybe he's always been like this. I didn't notice it. But he's talking about the next election, but they just got like destroyed. The Democrats just lost huge. I am excited to see what happens in the midterms, though, because maybe something will happen with this ICE stuff, because a lot of people are upset. But the last election, Donald Trump destroyed Kamala Harris, so it's kind of ironic there, no? But, you know, this is just so stupid. This is just stupid drama. It's crazy. And, like, Halo is built on, like, I don't want to say America, but it's, like, a story about patriotism and, like, fighting for your homeland and war and stuff like that, like fighting off the flood, and came out in the early 2000s, like after 9/11. So like it's kind of like all that stuff is involved in it.
The people responding, like friend of the channel George Alexopoulos, who said that Joe was a flood sympathizer, which, I mean, come on, that's funny. And Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who came in with a JD Vance Master Chief dropping
That's
on
funny.
a planet meme, which is also funny. Like, come on, that is funny. And you had other users like this one saying that it must be hard time for Joe with Trump shaking hands with Master Chief, which that image has been shared everywhere now as well, but it's great too. But what I found interesting is that people like Angry Joe and many like him from Mighty Keef and Actman, they all never really say anything when games are being used as political bludgeoning tools in days past until seemingly right now. It's almost as if because the shoe is on the other foot, the conservative foot to be exact, now it is suddenly a problem that must be eradicated at all costs. But when these types were destroying your favorite games and pushing all sorts of nonsense, the very same people from Angry Joe, Actman, and many more, they never said anything against it. Instead, they just agreed with it and championed it even. Sure, Joe at least has spoken for players when it comes to companies being greedy. I mean, his whole shtick is screaming autistically at loud volumes to get his point across. But these guys never really did or say anything to change the true trajectory of games as a whole from being full-blown communist slop like it usually was in the last few years. Which I have, obviously, as it's well documented on this channel, as well as other.
See, that's what I'm like kind of referring to with Angry Joe. There's some things that are like, he just doesn't seem like he wants to go all the way. He just tiptoes through things, like sits on the fence. And there's propaganda in gaming on both ways. Both there's a lot of propaganda everywhere these days. So
people, but they hate me for doing that. Anyway, so I responded to Angry Joe, and this is what I said, as I said here. Be Angry Joe. Mad Halo was used by conservatives. Composer of series is conservative. Game's entire plot is a religious allegory. Flood, Ark, Halo, all Bible references. Plot is defeating beings who invade and impose their religion and ways upon humanity against their will. Sound familiar? Point of series goes over his head. These people are, well, you know. And as of this video anyways, Joe's post has about 25,000 likes, and mine hilariously managed over 30,000 already. So, my bad, Joe. Didn't mean to outrage you there, but I mean, you don't understand Halo at all. Like, let's be real, because the game was made by people who aren't just liberals like they do these days. Again, Marty O'Donnell, the composer I referenced who did the music for the Halo series under Bungie and Destiny before he left, of course, is an outspoken conservative man. He's also running for Congress again. As you can see, this is Marty's Twitter page. I'm buddies with Marty. I've had him on the channel before too. Just go look at my live stream page. I have an entire interview with Marty and Grums, for crying out loud. Anyway, I out-ratioed Joe. My bad, I guess. But then he got really butthurt and then responded to me again while I was doing a live stream at the time. But here's what Joe said, which is a mess of words. I apologize, and he doesn't really know how to meme properly, but let me read you his word salad response, which says, B. Enmion, didn't even say my name right, Endymion Joe, by the way, but anyway, and clutches his pearls because someone he doesn't know dislikes Donald Trump and how ISIS conducted themselves. Breaking into people's homes without warrants, arresting US citizens, profiling, ramming people off roads, killing people by mistake, bullying with badges. Lick their boots like a good little.
have they killed somebody? Has ICE killed somebody? I'm not like really like I really don't know much. I've seen the clips and stuff, or I know that ICE is doing raids, but have they killed somebody? Was actually, yeah, no, I thought they killed a dog or something. Let me know, guys. Have they killed anybody? That's wild.
Boy by jumping to defend a stupid meme usage, whine and cry that others stand up against what they consider dumb BS. That's rich coming from him, by the way. Bring up a bunch of unrelated points about Halo, like religious themes, its music, game plot, the soundtrack's composer, and stupid stuff to defend literal propaganda from the government. Because he has no idea what he's talking about and got his feelings hurt about a tweet completely unrelated to him. What have you become? Be a general snowflake about other people not liking ICE recruitment propaganda, using stuff without permission like they did with Pokemon, he spelled it wrong, by the way. Can't even spell
Pokemon. that's embarrassing, bro. But yeah, I think it's just all a joke. I think Trump's just trolling, or the White House is just trolling. And I think this is the response they want from people.
Pokemon. Calls other words like a big boy on the internet while making points to defend a trash meme. Did I miss anything? Pathetic, dude, you are better than this. No one has a problem with conservatives here. I also have conservative views. This propaganda poster was created by a mass police force, alluding to human beings being the mutated flood which the UNSC destroys and kills with prejudice. But it's just a meme from an official professional government account that attracts a certain type of person, clearly you. That's cool, man. God bless your righteous mission, though. Keep licking those boots. Okay, I then responded, as you can see here, to Joe again, almost reaching the same amount.
This is just so, it's just so dumb, dude. It's just like catty fighting, like just licking those boots. Well, somebody could argue that he's just licking other people's boots, then he's gonna come back and say you're licking. No, you, no, you, no, you. It's so silly, dude. It's just a video game. It was just a joke, and it's like everybody's just so like intense these days, man. Everybody's just so worked up, and I understand like some people are living this this life, but it's just everybody just needs to chill a little bit.
Of likes as his post. Here's what I said to Joe. Oh, I really pissed you off, didn't I? Sorry to say, Joe, but your beloved Halo series wasn't made by just people who agree with you politically 100%. Halo is a religious game. It comes with the fact that it's called Halo, Joe. I don't even hate you, but you got to admit that it's funny. Plus, the government can use anything they want. I'm not even defending the government here. I just find it funny you're so mad about them using Halo. Your reviews are good, though, so credit where it's due. And yes, I was not defending the government either way with my statement.
See, that's where I kind of like, he does have, AngryJoe does do good reviews, but like I said, it just seems too much on the fence with a lot of things, or like too scared to really dive deep into the review sometimes. Like when it comes to anything like somewhat political, and I get that if you don't want to be political and stuff, because politics is very divisive. I came to the conclusion like I really don't want to do politics on this channel. Really, if I want to, I'll make another channel for that, but it just comes with such division and such toxicity. So I can understand that he doesn't want to go into that deep, but some of these games that have came out, it's just so blatantly like political. It's hard not to be a game reviewer and not talk about it. So I don't know, man. This is just crazy drama.
I was laughing at AngryJoe because he failed to understand what Halo represented as a franchise, and its story, and its themes, because he was mad that people he disagreed with or were using it as memes. He somehow took what I was saying and then chalked it up to that I am an ICE sympathizer, which is kind of hilarious because nowhere in my response do the words ICE even appear once, but what I did say was that governments of any kind can use any memes that they want. It comes with the territory that memes are allowed to be used by anyone. Like, I can use a meme of Ghost of Yote, even if the lead actor is an Antifa lover. It's just a meme. But you seem very butthurt, AngryJoe, that the White House is using Halo memes without really understanding what Halo even is. So now let's dissect everything and dive into that now. So Halo is literally a religious allegory and is based on Christian or even Catholic views depending on who you ask. It is not 100% Christian or Catholic, but it cannot be denied that clearly elements and themes from those religious dogmas have had significant effects and influences on the Halo games. I mean, the obvious thing is the name of the literal Halo, like an angel's halo. The enemy is called the Flood. Like as in the Bible, the flood wipes out all life in a massive torrential storm, and the only thing that can save life is an ark. Like how in Halo they use a literal ark in their game to save against the enemy that is literally called the Flood. Again, it's so on the nose, it's kind of ridiculous. Some people have also pointed out that Master Chief's name even...
I'll be honest with you guys. Growing up, I didn't think that. I didn't think it was religious. But like, I guess he's making good points here. But when I was like playing it when I was a kid, I really didn't think about religion. I just thought about like, dude, I'm shooting people and saving lives. I'm a badass. I'm Master Chief. I'm indestructible. Like, bring on the whole flood. I'll take them all on. Like, I didn't really think about biblical, but back then I wasn't as like connected to faith.
Means religious overtones, like his real name is John 117. If you ask Google for information on this, Google's AI says this: Master Chief's name is believed to reference biblical verses like John 117. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ, with the John and the number 117 symbolizing grace and truth delivered through a human agent. He is portrayed as a reluctant savior, a light in the darkness who sacrifices himself for humanity, mirroring Jesus Christ's role. In some interpretations, John 117 can be seen as a precursor or a messenger for a larger salvation, similar to John the Baptist's role in relation to Jesus. I mean, the religious allegories...
That's actually pretty interesting. That's actually pretty thought provoking right here. Man, why did I never like notice this stuff? Was I just stupid when I was a kid? I always thought that Master Chief was like a Jesus type character, but anybody like you could also like argue that anybody like a superhero is a Jesus like character. Anybody who fights for Goku is a Jesus like character. Anybody who fights for the innocent and good versus evil, who is selfless, who is really willing to die to protect other people, is that kind of person. And that's like that's kind of like every trope of heroes, you know what I mean?
Won't even end there. In the beginning of Halo 2, for example, after Chief blows up the Halo installation in the previous game and disgraces the Covenant forces, what ends up happening to the guy in charge of those forces that failed? The Arbiter, whose name in Latin, by the way, literally translates to eyewitness or onlooker or person appointed to settle a dispute, is stripped of his armor in front of a roaring crowd of other aliens, is placed in a Christ-like nailing to the cross position, and is then branded by his own people as a sacrifice to, be, I guess, made an example of his people's failings. Like I said, Halo is not very subtle about any of this, not to mention you have the other major enemy of the Halo games, under Bungie anyways, which in all honesty, by the way, the only Halo games that really exist in my opinion are what Bungie has made, not 343, but that's a topic for another time anyways. But the other major enemy besides the Flood is of course the Covenant, another on-the-nose name where the Covenant is an amalgamation of various alien races all united under a single religious dogma that forces them all to believe in a false prophet like God. Need I remind you that Halo was created originally in 2001, while it unfortunately came out this—
Bro, this is blowing my mind. Oh my god. I said that earlier in the beginning that this was made in 2001. Like, it was about, like, I thought it was about, like, having unity with your country and, like, showing support and stuff like that. But I didn't see the biblical. Dude, this is blowing my mind. But it makes sense.
Same year that 9/11 happened, around this time, the American zeitgeist was firmly placed against that of Islam and the Middle Eastern countries. That can't be disputed. After all, we—
See, I got that connection, but I didn't think of, like, straight up, like, biblical Islamic thing. I thought it was just more like America first, kind of like a mentality, like, America, yeah. Like, that's what I thought, but dude, I'm blown away.
know all about the war in Afghanistan that erupted following 9/11, and like most art, it's influenced by whatever happens around it. Halo, like I said, was born in a time of deep American patriotism and rejection of outside world influences. So it's no real wonder that Master Chief, a literal soldier who is beholden to the military-industrial complex with religious connotations to his name, is fighting actual biblically named foes on a literal floating angel Halo ring as a conglomerate of alien species that are not human try to invade and destroy humanity's way of life by imposing their religion and beliefs upon them. I mean, you have people like Jamie Gressimer, I hope I said his name right, but that's this guy on screen here, which if you're a Halo fan, you recognize Jamie 100%. This dude has been there since the beginning of the series. He was the gameplay design lead on the entire franchise. So if you love how Halo plays, feels, and is, yeah, it's cause of Jamie pretty much, alright? He was in a ton of Bungie's vidocs too, which if you're a Halo fan, you have definitely seen yourselves many times. I know I have. But anyway, Jamie recently spoke on the Halo Campaign Evolved remake for PlayStation, how he has issues with its gameplay changes, like adding sprint, for example, or removing geometry.
That's also a topic I wanted to talk about, but I feel like I just kind of missed the marker on that one. It's kind of flown by me that it's going to be on PlayStation now. That's just absolutely mind-blowing as well, that they're literally the console wars are dead. Like, they're just Xbox just giving up, dude. One of their biggest, like, I just can't believe they did this. Like, it's like Halo is Xbox. I bought a 360 for the Halo games. Like, I remember I had a PlayStation, was it 3? When Xbox One, like, I mean, Xbox, not one, but the original Xbox was out. I think it was PlayStation 3 or was it 2? Well, whatever. I had a PlayStation and a game, like a Nintendo, if it was a Wii or GameCube at the time. And my friends had Xbox. So, like, I used to get made fun of all the time. I couldn't play Halo. They're like, dude, you don't have Halo. And it used to bother the crap out of me. So when 360 came out, I bought the 360 just for Halo. And now they're just throwing it away, man. It's just crazy.
in the map. That's not relevant here, but Jamie at one point on Twitter recently got into discussions on what Halo meant, especially back then when it was first created. Jamie would respond to people about what Halo means and why the modern era has been so bad at adapting it, but here's what Jamie said. And I promise that this will all come back to Angry Joe being an absolute moron, but it's important to understand everything before Joe is proven wrong, but Jamie said this on Twitter. It's not the early 2000s anymore. Halo is of its time, maybe even more than any other game franchise. So they are constantly trying to either take Halo out of 2001 and modernize it, which breaks it, or take players back to 2001 with nostalgia, which is impossible. A user would then retweet Jamie saying this is exactly my thought. Halo belongs to the post 9/11 new atheist world. The quintessential Halo players was a Ron Paul 08 guy. Jamie would then reply to this person with this. Yeah, I wonder why inscrutable aliens blowing up Marines because it's the way to paradise according to their religious extremism resonated so strongly back then. Uh-oh, Jamie, you better watch what you're saying there, because Angry Joe is not gonna like that at all.
All right, chat. How many of you already felt this way? Who thought this was an allegory for religion? Am I the only one who wasn't on board back then? Was I that stupid as a child? Like, were you guys on chat? Were you guys in on this? YouTube comments, let me know. Were you part of this? Like, did you know this?
Are you insinuating that Halo is, as you said, a product of its time in 2001 when 9/11 happened? It was a space version of American patriotism, told through the viewpoint of a literal Marine who's now in space fighting against religious zealots from outside his nation who are trying to subjugate and destroy his way of life by imposing theirs onto them? Because if you are, Jamie, the Angry Joe, for example, is going to be really angry about that, because Joe is also mad that the White House, which is currently ran by conservatives who are historically pro-military, pro-nationalism, actually patriotic about their country, anti-open borders, and against illegal immigration, and more on that, by the way, because that's going to be bad for Joe too, but the exact opposite of, say, the leftist mindset, if you will, would perhaps find it appropriate to use Halo memes to promote their way of thinking, which again, I'm not defending ICE, but what I am defending is that you can't remove Halo as a concept down to its DNA from its roots as a conservative-minded product, no matter what Joe says. It doesn't mean that Halo wasn't also made by people who weren't, liberal, for example, no, but Halo was in fact made instead in a very much different way than, say, what happens these days usually in Western game studios. Before, games were made by all sorts of people. Didn't really matter what you thought or believed, it just came down to your raw talent. It's why it was a golden age of games. So many great games were made, and franchises got made in those years in particular. A lot of Western games now, though, are made...
Yeah, I feel bad for a lot of you kids these days. Like, man, we had, like, the early 2000s, man, some of the best games came out. We had great content back then. Just great games, like so many good memories, bro. I feel so bad for you guys because now all the games are just either like stupid slop or like politically influenced, like, and not in a good way. It's like, dude, even like Monkey Ball back then. Oh, I used to love playing Monkey Ball.
By hive minds, primarily of the leftist archetype. Let's be real, there's no point in denying it really, because how often do we see that coded language and characters and especially developers cheering for the passing of people like Charlie Kirk recently from so many studios already? We never really saw that before, did we? Yeah, it's because a lot of game studios in the West just hire people these days who all think the same. Gee, I wonder why so many games aren't as good as they were before, I guess. I mean, Halo especially has been co-opted by people who frankly would not even be considered to be working at OG Bungie if they tried to. For example, infamously, a dev at 343 Industries. Sorry, I mean Halo Studios because they rebranded because 343 has been disastrous, but anyways. Back in April 2023 claimed that he was uncomfortable working on Halo. You know, this series the entire studio he's employed at works on because it has guns in it, and no, I'm not kidding. And before I even show you what this guy says, I want you to take a guess and imagine what flags he has in his bio to show his political opinions. Just take a guess. I guarantee you'll probably be right 1 out of 3. But anyway, this Nick guy said, as you can see here, and look at those flags, I honestly don't think I could work on a game that glorifies or fantasizes modernized guns. COD, Battlefield, Rainbow Six. I've had moments I've struggled with Halo, but the weapons and world is pretty science fiction, which creates a large enough separation from reality. He then said, after people called him an idiot, locking down my account for the rest of the weekend. God forbid someone has complex thoughts and feelings about working on a game with guns after multiple mass shootings.
Dude, this is... Oh, this is so stupid, man. We can't have people like this making video games. Like, if you want to have your flags and everything, fine, but like, you can't be making a video, you can't be making a shooter and then saying, I'm scared of guns. Like, it just doesn't work, dude. Can we just have good games again? Can we just go back to normal? Can we just be normal?
Buddy, you work on Halo. You're working on a game where a space marine guy fights literal aliens that use religious zealot-like beliefs to justify destroying humanity. You can't claim that Halo is not against your beliefs or something. It came when it was called Halo. This is the new Halo devs, by the way. Why are people who are afraid of guns and holding their stomachs in pain because Master Chief shoots aliens in the face with shotguns working on these games in the first place? No one...
Can you imagine him like watching the gameplay after? Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, that was a great scene. Oh, it's like, dude, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Your Halo has been in such a terrible place since Bungie left. I mean, Halo 4 wasn't good. Halo 5 Guardians was rejected so poorly by the fans that 343 pretty much just abandoned the Guardians plotline entirely like it never happened, and Infinite did not in fact go on infinitely. Instead, it too didn't even meet Microsoft's expectations, and 343 was so disastrous they had mass layoffs which led to almost half of their studio being let go. They then rebranded because the 343 name had too much negative public sentiment attached to it, and now we have Halo Studios, who unfortunately is now making the new Halo 1 remake on Unreal Engine 5 of all things. God help us all. Hilarious though, I had Angry Joe sympathizers attacking me, claiming that I was wrong because Halo is actually Catholic and not Christian. I wish I was kidding, but let's walk slowly here for a second, okay? What is
Catholicism? Is a branch of Christianity. What are we talking about?
Catholicism a part of? Say it with me, folks. Christianity. Uh-oh, well that doesn't work for the narrative, does it? Like I said, okay, Angry Joe is mad that conservatives are using Halo as a meme, and the guy just does not understand Halo. Sure, Halo, like I said, was made by a various group of people with various beliefs, but to deny it has any connections to the very things Joe seems to be rallying against is just tone deaf at best. Plus, let's be real, it's not illegal for anyone to use...
I have a buddy who used to love Halo. It was his favorite game of all time. All he ever used to play is Halo, and he's in the military right now.
A meme, not even a government. It's this thing called free use. You know, that law that protects everyone's content to be used on the internet, like how Angry Joe makes his content, or I do as well. Joe, it doesn't matter what the government uses. It doesn't mean that the meme used needs to be taken literally as for them. It's a meme. It's a joke. You can have your opinions on ICE protests and whether ICE is good or bad for America, I guess. That is your free right to do so. I personally believe that immigration is fine if it's done in a legal sense, but if you're illegally entering a country, you are by definition breaking a major law of American society. You can clutch your pearls and cry all you want that these people wanted a better life. No one is saying they're not allowed to have that better life. All they are saying is that you need to go through the proper channels to then become an official citizen. Otherwise, you're breaking the law. That is not pro-fascist to say, Joe. That is common sense. The problem is that people like yourself, who are crazy, don't seem to be able to differ the objective reality versus that of the subjective. You can't seem to emulate your own thoughts in a proper manner, although to your credit at least, you are literally called Angry Joe for a reason. You just scream like a madman. Like, I get it, that is your thing. But you need to realize, Joe, that like other content creators who've come after me, you're not exactly equipped either ideologically, politically, or mentally to be having these sorts of conversations like this in a reasonable sense. I don't hate Angry Joe. I frankly don't care about him one way or another. I haven't watched his videos in a long time. I've seen some of them in the past, sure, but that was like 10 plus years ago, well before I even did this sort of thing myself. Joe is sort of like when Fighting Cowboy tried to come after me and I embarrassed him publicly too for not knowing what he was talking about either. You guys are content creators that just talk games as in like their mechanics and the price of them and whatnot, and that's totally fine. But you are not equipped whatsoever to have opinions that anyone should take seriously when it comes to things like this. Hilariously as well, Joe even says in his first response to me, which I'll highlight here so nobody can swindle and say that I'm lying or something, that you said, Joe, in your own response to me that you too have conservative views. So why are you so hell-bent on playing the jester for these people who clearly would throw you to the wolves?
That's why I'm kind of confused why all this is happening, because I thought he was like also conservative. So it seems like two conservatives I thought are going at each other. But like I was saying earlier, Angry Joe just, it doesn't seem like he is. I feel like he's scared to be against the grain right now, because maybe because of sponsorships and stuff. If you look at his channel, like the views compared to like when I used to watch him pretty regularly, I used to watch him maybe 4 or 5 years ago. The views are way down on his channel. Like, he used to be breaking 100,000 views like almost every video. Now he's like getting like 20, 30, 40,000, 100,000 on occasion. But like, I just don't know what's going on. Like, if he's trying to cater to the sponsors and they're paying him and so he's fine on revenue, so he doesn't care that his views are so low. because if lower views means he's making less money, right? So I don't know what's going on there, but it does seem like he has become more of a, how do I say this as YouTube friendly, more of a like fence sitter sissy boy. Like, he doesn't want to rattle any feathers. He doesn't really want to give you his full opinions on things. The only time I see him going like balls to the wall is like when it's like a Madden review, where it's like accustomed to have that like response. But like, you know, even like Alien Earth, he said, "Oh, I really love this." I watched that review. He's like, "I really love this show. It's a great show. Everybody watch it, right?" And then the next episode, he's like, you guys are hating me for liking the show." And then like the fourth episode, he's like, "I've changed everything, guys. I absolutely hate this show now. You were all right, blah blah blah." And you're allowed to change your mind, but like even I watched the first episode of Alien Earth. I was like, "Oh, it's pretty good. It's okay. I'll see what goes on." Second episode, I was like, "Okay, it's all right. It's all right. It's pretty good." And then by the end of the series, I was kind of like, Like before, I was like, "Oh, this is like a 9 out of 10, you know, maybe 8 out of 10." And then by the end, I was like more like a 6, you know, because it got a little too like weird and too like the girl just got like, it's just weird. It's just weird like girl boss stuff, and the story doesn't really make sense. And how the girl could like talk to the alien, it didn't work for me. But like that was I got there gradually. But if you watch his reviews, he's like, first 2 episodes, he's like, "Bros, this is the best thing. Thank God Alien's in the hands of a franchise that could respect it. Finally." And then the comment section comes out, and the comments are like totally against him. And the next episode, he's like, "Oh, I don't know why you guys are all about this, blah blah blah. You guys just like to hate, blah blah blah." And then the fourth one, he's starting to be like, "Okay, guys, I agree with you now. Yeah, you're right. It's like, dude, just stick on your. It just goes back to like even the drama with the streamers, like Cutie and Valkyrie and Pokimane. All these people are just so fake nowadays. They're just so scared to lose subscribers, views, and freaking sponsorships. It's like the money. Like all these people just care about is money these days, and it's getting kind of annoying.
If you also stepped out of line here. You and I both know the very people who might defend you, like maybe Mighty Queef, will hate you if you admit that you're a conservative. These people don't like anyone who doesn't think like them, so why even entertain them at all is the point. Plus, you're a Hispanic man of all things who clearly admits that he now has conservative views publicly, so you know that deep down in your heart that there is a rot and poison in society that has to be fixed. Why would you align yourself with the side that is pro-Antifa? Like, they're like Joker goons pretty much. And communist people that think it's in any way a good thing. The only reason why I think you would say these things is simple. You want to keep good graces with companies and other content creators so they don't dogpile you. The very same creators who again will throw you away the moment that you step out of line. They literally did the same thing to Colin Moriarty at Kinda Funny years ago. They canceled that guy over a joke, and then the industry raked him over the coals celebrating his defeat and departure from Kinda Funny. For example, Colin has Sacred Symbols, one of, if not the biggest PlayStation-centric podcast in the world. Sure, I mean, he does. Yet PlayStation as a company doesn't want to work with him anyways because he's a conservative apparently. When are you going to realize that these people, whether they're in the industry or whatever else, they don't like you if you step out of line even once? Maybe you're afraid of that, and that's why you're thinking by attacking.
Which is really annoying because, like I said earlier in the beginning of this video, I'm not a conservative or a Democrat. I'm more in like, I call myself politically homeless. But like whenever I say something that aligns with a I've been called a liberal. I've been called a MAGA within like the same day. Like like I have opinions that go like that vary very drastically than a lot of people. Like my father, he's extremely Republican, extremely MAGA. And I remember telling him, I was like, "Dude, don't you feel like this when the Epstein thing was going on, when the files, he was making those weird comments about the files. It's like, isn't this bother you?" He goes, "No, I trust Trump no matter what." I was like, "Dude, don't you kind of see when the liberals say the Trump thinks that MAGA's a cult? Don't you kind of feel that vibe when people just, before, when Trump was saying, 'I'm going to release the files,' you're like, 'Oh yeah, we need to release those files, get those liberals, blah 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 blah.' And once he gets in power, he says, 'Oh, the files are not important anymore,' and you change your tune like that. Doesn't that feel a little culty?" And I was called a liberal. I was called a stupid liberal. So it's like, okay, dude. It's like, I can't have an opinion. I can't free think without one person calling me one other thing. And it's just so annoying. Like back back when Halo first came out, in that time period, if you're too young to remember this, that area, that time area, that era, we had no political discourse really. I want to say it started happening around Obama times. Like that's when everybody started being more open about being like their political stances and being more open with their politics. But before that, like it was like you used to keep your religion, your income, and your politics to yourself. That's literally what they told us in civics class. Like we would be taught like the respect. You never ask somebody how much they make, and you never ask somebody their political views and what is their religious reviews. Unless they want to willingly tell you that stuff, you shouldn't be prying and asking people that. And now we're in this world that everybody has to just shout their opinions about everything, and if it's different than yours, then you hate them. Blah blah blah. It's just a crazy world. Like you have to realize something that I've realized is like if somebody has a different political view than you or religious view from you, it doesn't affect you. Like they have no power. Like if somebody's a bigot, they're not gonna like that cutie Cinderella video we did. If her father's a bigot and she goes and hangs out with her father because she loves him, that father has no power in the world. He's not gonna make any legislation. He's not gonna push any agendas. He has no power. He's essentially a nobody. He's nothing in the grand scheme of things. Like, who cares what he individually thinks? Like, it's just we really need to get back to just like keeping like things more simple, man.
Me that you can prove to them that you're one of the good little soldiers, even though again you lost. I outraged you like multiple times, and like even your own commentators are clowning on you too in your own comments. Like where was this energy for being so anti-politics and being pro Halo apparently when 343 was...
I used to love those grenade kills, dude. You'd throw a grenade and then you get the grenade kill, dude. I used to love those.
Pushing rainbow flags and propaganda slop all over Halo. Like, Joe, I can even prove it to you by using your own words and tangible data against you. Here's what you said in response to me after I outratioed you, but this is what you said.
Okay, last pause and we'll continue listening, okay? I just can like all these like we've been doing a lot of Pokemon GA content. We see Arceus. It just makes me want to play Arceus so bad. And right now, dude, I wish I could go back in time and play this Halo back, like the original Halo. Like such great memories. Like when you're playing with your friends and you get a no scope like that. We just saw that snipe. It's like, dude, it used to be one of the best feelings in the world. Like you pull out your your pistol, you boom boom boom, you kill somebody. You pull out your BR, and then you pull out your sniper and headshot somebody. It's like, dude. It's like, oh man, those are some great memories.
Dude, wait, are you actually effing stupid? I never said anything about Halo not being a religious game. I never even mentioned religion in my original tweet that triggered your snowflake ass. You brought up religion to somehow defend the government use of the meme. How? LOL. I just took issue with the government using Halo to engage in dumb culture wars to divide us. I take it back. You literally aren't better than this, calling me things and dumb off rip, all while you were over here arguing with yourself about Halo's religion. Maybe you should change your name to dumbass. Interesting, Joe. Well, here's how I responded again to that very same thing you just said, but here's what I said to you. What's wrong, Angry Joe? You don't like it when your favorite franchises are used for propaganda? And sorry, my bad. I almost double ratio you.
This was ridiculous. Like, this was absolutely ridiculous. Like, again, I agree with him right here. You shouldn't be pushing shit like this. If you have a problem with the Trump using the meme, which is really him just using a photo, like that's not Halo's involvement at all with it, but this is literally Halo being involved in pushing agendas. So this is totally, I'm not for it.
This video being made, by the way. But no, Joe, you clearly are just not equipped for this sort of fight. The fact you've never called out or defended Halo against the tiring brigade of slop nonsense thrown its way that has rightfully so alienated its fan base and drove the very same franchise into the dirt both thematically and culturally over time, that tells us everything. That you, people like Ackman or Mighty Shill, they don't really speak for the players. You guys are, let's be real, you guys are fence sitters. You just kind of say whatever is politically thought to be correct at the time because again, you you don't want to lose your access or your sponsorships, right, Mighty Shill with Ghost of Yote? We all know what you did there. But how do I know? Look at your own profile, Joe. You publicly say that you're powered by G Fuel Energy. That's interesting. The very same company that cut ties with me, by the way, because they said that my views were problematic, which is just another way of saying, sorry, your views are too conservative, or whatever they want to say for us to be associated with them. How can you stand there and think that you're some sort of moral arbiter of justice when the companies you're aligned with have severed ties with people based on their political leanings? Which is true, by the way. Here's that post and the email that I made a while back when G Fuel decided to sever ties with me, by the way, because I wasn't representative of their brand, unlike AngryJoe here, for example. So why didn't you come to my defense then, Joe? I thought you had conservative views. Why didn't you ever come to the defense of Halo fans who said they don't think, caping their entire beloved franchise in virtue signal?
In AngryJoe's defense, it's like, why is he supposed to, right? Why is he supposed to comment on a random? I don't think he knows him, right? Because they're like the way they were talking in the beginning didn't seem like they're too familiar with each other. So why would he come to the defense of you when he barely even knows you?
Nonsense was against the core identity of what Halo as a franchise meant in the first place. Why are you only ever upset when literally anything pushes against the status quo that you've spent years ignoring yourself to even push back against even a little bit out of fear of being ostracized? It's cause you're a fence sitter. You, like a lot of companies, actually seem to just stand for seemingly nothing at all. Your actual views and ideals are nothing but what's politically correct at any given time, pretty much. I guarantee you, if the Democrats won and they started deporting people en masse, you would be cheering it from the rooftops with your shirt twisted into a crop top with pom-poms. Because you literally stand for nothing but what is socially acceptable, and that's it. And to also prove my point further that you have actually, cheered for people that do exactly what Trump's doing right now, by the way, and that you are a hypocrite who just dances to the tune of whatever is socially acceptable at the time, we all know that Grokpedia exists now. But if you don't, Grokpedia is Twitter's version of Wikipedia, but instead of being biased and falsely representing history and stories, to simply meet the narratives that are socially considered to be politically accurate, Grokpedia just tells you what happened in any given historical event, and that's warts and all. So no, it's not pro-conservative. It actually exposes both sides of the party and any actions that were given by both political parties. And also any given scenario, and just tells you what happened, because that's what places like Wikipedia, for example, were originally meant to be for, except they haven't really been, obviously, these days. Anyways, if you go ask Grok if Democrats ever deported illegal migrants, you get an interesting historically backed response that will definitely make someone like AngryJoe cower in.
Yeah, I think Obama and I don't know if Biden did, but Obama definitely deported more than Trump. His first term, at least.
In fear and cover his.
Obama is the one who started the kids in cage thing. That started under Obama.
Eyes screaming. So what did Grok have to say with actual data to back it up? Well, it said this. Yes, Democratic U.S. presidents have deported millions of undocumented immigrants, often referred to as illegals in the query, frequently at higher rates than their Republican counterparts. Uh-oh, Joe. This enforcement has been a bipartisan norm for decades, driven by laws like the 1996 Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, signed by President Bill Clinton, which expanded deportation tools. Below, Grok, break it down by key Democratic administrations, focusing on formal removals, court-ordered deportations, and returns, quick expulsions at the border, which also count as deportations in total enforcement stats. These figures come from U.S. Department of Homeland Security data and analysis by nonpartisan groups like the Migration Policy Institute. Uh-oh, Joe, I'm about to own you even further. You're ready for the actual truth that the people you're cheerleading for are actually deporting illegal immigrants even more than your big bad Donald Trump? Alrighty, let's keep it going. As seen here, Grok uses actual data from the American records that Bill Clinton, a Democrat, not a Republican, Joe, deported roughly 12 million plus illegal migrants during his presidency. In fact, as Grok says there on the right, Bill Clinton currently has the record for the highest amount of deportations by a U.S. president, with a resounding 93% of illegal Mexicans being deported.
That's pretty wild. I didn't know that about Bill Clinton. I didn't know that.
deported under Democrat rule, Joe. 93%, you idiotic goatee-wearing Superboy shirt-having moron. Why aren't you mad at the Democrats for deporting your own people at a 93% rate? Where was your outrage for this? Oh, right, you, like the Democrats, because G Fuel is aligned with them clearly. That's why you're still signed, by the way. I get it, Joe. It's okay. But let's keep going. Let's keep proving how wrong and stupid you really are, shall we? Barack Obama, the one everyone seems to love, has also deported a staggering 5 million people during his presidency alone. He was so efficient, by the way, at deporting illegals, as seen there on the right, that the news actually called him the deporter-in-chief. Wow, that's a pretty scathing name if someone called that like that today. So again, why aren't you mad at the Obama administration, Joe? Is it because it's not socially acceptable to push back against him because the people you're aligned with politically love Obama so much that they called him deporter-in-chief? You spiked hair.
Dude, this is something that I actually like. Again, I don't want to be political on this channel, and to be honest, I didn't know this video was going to be political when I watched it, or when we're watching it now. Like, I thought it was about just Angry Joe, like, meme stuff. I didn't know it was going to get this political, but since we're here, might as well say something. I really don't like when I see stuff like what Angry Joe is doing, like he's trying to demonize like the deportations and stuff, when other Democrats, like he's pointing out, have done it as well, you know. So like it's happening on both sides, like both parties deport, and Trump is actually doing less of it than his predecessors. So it's like it's all like a media narrative to try to push an agenda and try to make people angry, and it just bothers me when I see people fall into it, like, because it's 100% manipulated that way. They're trying to encourage the culture war. This is like a feeding into that culture war, and the culture war has always been a BS thing created by the mainstream media. And I'm not going to say liberals or Democrats, because both of them need it. Without the culture war, then you would start realizing that the actual enemy are the elites. So they need you to hate each other. They need you to hate like your neighbor because of stupid shit like, oh, he doesn't like this, or he doesn't like this, or he likes this. They need you to hate each other so you don't look at the top and see who the real problem is. Because if everybody did that, there'd probably be like a revolution or something. Like the Democrats and the Republicans would be in trouble, because the people would take the power back, and they just don't want that. So they use this culture war to push you against each other. And it bothers me that people would fall into that trap.
Weirdo, but I'm sure that's not enough for you, so okay. Here's Joe Biden, who removed 4.4 million illegals in just one presidential run as president, almost reaching, by the way, the same levels that Obama did in 2 full terms in record time. Joe Biden's administration, who apparently advocated for open borders according to people like you, in actuality as seen here on the right, had the highest annual removals of illegal migrants in 2024, coincidentally, right before Donald Trump came into power. Again, Joe, where is your outrage? Why aren't you mad that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were kicking out migrants at almost the same level as Obama in half the time? Why weren't you mad about that one either? Could it be that maybe, just maybe, you're a hypocrite that understands literally nothing that he speaks about, and just like your name suggests, just gets angry and then yells, hoping...
I don't know if I'd call him a hypocrite. I'd probably just call him ignorant, you know, like he just doesn't know. And he's just repeating what he's been told, you know, and what has been told is the more culturally accepted lie. It's a lie, you know. So I think he's pushing a lie out of ignorance, not hypocrisy.
That if you damage your vocal cords enough, it somehow means that you're also right. And I guarantee you, even though I provided all of these facts, Joe will still cover his ears and go, no, you're a bigot. Well, Joe, I would rather be labeled a bigot by someone like you than be exposed as an idiot who's also a hypocrite instead, if you ask me. You had people in your own comment section, Joe, making fun of you, like this guy who told you to get into your petty soul gem. That's funny, by the way. Or this guy who used a Duke Nukem meme making fun of you again in your own comment section on your post, by the way. Or this user who says that you're doing the leftist meme of posting the walls of paragraphs that mean absolutely nothing. Like, it's time to stop, Joe. Actually, I'm just kidding. Let's keep going. How about this comment in your own comment section which said, if you're not an illegal immigrant, you have no reason to hate ICE. If you are an illegal immigrant, you don't belong here. It's not difficult to understand, Joe. Look, I think this is plenty, but Joe, like I said in my earlier posts, you're not angry anymore. You're kind of just dumb now. Don't get mad at me that you don't either understand Halo fundamentally as a concept, nor do you seem to really understand that the very administration you seem to be white knighting for has far exceeded your Trump bad guy in deportations too, by the way. Why aren't you critical of Obama, Joe, who dropped a whopping, as you can see here, 26,000 bombs over countries like Somalia, Syria, Pakistan, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Yemen in 2006 alone, without, by the way, Congress approving of...
Yeah, Obama, like, again, I'm not trying to be political, but Obama was like probably one of the worst presidents we've ever had. He's done a lot of bad things, and if you like remove the whole like narratives of like what's culturally appropriate to say, he did a lot of bad stuff, and I believe we're in a lot of the situation we're in is because he started the movements.
Any of those attacks. Why aren't you celebrating that Donald Trump stopped the war in Israel and Palestine and is also actively working to stop the Ukraine war too? And by the way,
see, this is where I differ. This is where I differ from like all these Trumpers. I don't think he's stopped it. I think it's just it was a show, like a performance thing, because I think there's gonna be a ramp up there. You can't say like Trump is for that, but then he allowed so much of it to go on. You know, he literally bombed Iran on behalf of the Israeli government. So like I said earlier with my father, we've had a lot of discussions about this topic as well, and I've been called a liberal whenever I talk about it. So so if I say ICE, I agree with that ICE should be deporting illegals, I'm a Republican. If I say that Obama was the worst president, I'm a Republican. But if I say, hey, you know, I really don't appreciate what the Trump administration is doing about the Epstein files and what they're doing about the war in Gaza and stuff like that, I'm a Democrat. So it's like, dude, I'm everything apparently.
both of those wars began under President Joe Biden's watchful eye, a Democrat no less, Joe. Maybe Joe was too busy eating ice cream and deporting over 4 million illegals in just under 4 years to notice that he allowed 2 terrible humanitarian war crises to erupt that he could have stopped but didn't. Trump did though, yet you won't acknowledge that, and you'll instead just ignore it like you do everything else like you have for the past 20 years and then some. So I hereby dub Angry Joe for the rest of time to be Dumb Joe until further notice. You are ill-equipped for conversations like this, you don't understand what Halo even means, you have not even an iota of the politics or historical know-how of the very country that you live in, and you are doing all of this for free to cater to people who wouldn't even lose sleep if you died tomorrow. Besides all of this happening, I still don't hate you, Joe. I'm just disappointed in you. And I think based on everything provided here, you not only lost, but you have also embarrassed yourself in front of everyone. Of course, if you liked what you heard, please subscribe, share the video, and thanks for watching, everyone. And just like those journalists who tried to lie about me recently that I also exposed on the channel, now we got Angry Joe attacking me too like a moron. And all I wanted is to play video games, and these people just hate me for it, but I guess it means that I'm doing something right. Well, anyway, have a good day.
Well, that might be a good video to watch. What do they say? So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Chat, let me know what you're thinking. Very interesting topic. Again, I didn't know it was going to be so political. But, like, some of the stuff he did say I agree with, and some things I wasn't 100% with him. And I do think that Angry Joe has changed a little bit. I think from when I used to watch him like 5-10 years ago, like five years ago, I'd say he was very different than he is today. And I think the view count shows that. I think his views dropping indicates that he's changed, and now he's pandered to like a different kind of crowd, and it is what it is, I guess. But it's very sad for gamers. Like, this whole thing was supposed to be funny. I thought I was gonna get some laughs out of it. I did. I got a couple laughs, but overall, it's just a bad situation for gaming in general. Like, we just want a game. Like, nobody wants to join a video game and get told about like DEI stuff. Nobody wants to join a video game and and in the same way, they don't want to join a video game and have a like war propaganda in their face. They just want to play a fun game to escape the world and the troubles going on in it. It's supposed to be our happy place. It's supposed to be our safe place. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to take off. If you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for getting this far. If you have gotten this far, please consider subscribing. We're doing pretty well on the channel, but if you see here, only about 95% of you are subscribed, and we're getting some pretty good views. We're getting good views. We're getting good everything except for subscriptions, to be honest. So if you guys would please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000, and then the next goal is 10,000. And once we get the channel to be able to afford things, we're gonna be doing a lot of giveaways for members, like new games, hopefully a couple consoles here and there in the future. And the main goal is going to be to do a PC giveaway, like a nice gaming PC. That'd be awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I'll see you for the next one.